Hello everyone and welcome to Learnware. If you're watching this, you're probably curious about web development in C, or you're my friend. In both cases, thank you very much, I really appreciate your interest and your support. However, recently I have released AISL library on GitHub, and this solution can help you to implement full functional web applications written in plain C without any dependency. Let me show you how it works. First, I will create a folder for our project. I will call it Minion. And inside the folder, I will initialize Git repository. I will attach the library as a submodule to the Git. I need to write full address here, which is github.com learnware aisl.git. So now we have it. I will also create a folder for sources, and inside this folder I will start implementation in our main.c file. We will not need any copyright information here, but we will need some includes. I will add include of stdlib.h. I will add include of stdio to have some output to console, and I will add include of header of our library. AISL.h is a meta file and you don't need to add any other includes, just this one. And I will add here declaration of our main function. Let it return 0 for success. And before we start the implementation, we need to define a couple structures with configuration for our web application. And first structure will stand for configuration for our web server that will be built into our application. So I will make it static because it's used only inside this module. I will make it constant because it's not about to be changed during runtime. And it's a structure named AISL config server. I will call it msrv. And here we need to set host property, which will be used to know which interface should be listened by our server. I will use 4 zeros here to make it listen every interface that is available on the PC, and the 8080 port, which is not privileged, and we can easily listen it and work with it. And also static constant structure for AISL configuration here. We need to initialize it with some library defaults. Not important now to dive that deep. We need a pointer to our server structure here, and we need to say that we have just one web server. We will also need, server count. We will also need callback to our application. I will call it Minion callback. And I think it will be good to declare this callback here just above. Minion callback. It will take pointer to structure, AISL event describing which event occurred, and user defined context. You can adjust this structure and set pctx parameter to pass some context, some pointer, whatever, but I don't have anything, so I will just put null here. And we can start with the implementation of the main function. We will need to initialize one AISL instance. We will also need to deal with AISL status here, and we can start the procedure. We will use AISL new function, and we will pass here cfg pointer And if AISL was allocated successfully, we can continue with our application loop. I will scroll it a little bit so you will see everything. We'll start endless loop here, and I will call here AISL run cycle function, which will do all the routines for us that are necessary for web application. I mean, communication with web server, triggering events, and whatever. And I will add here check that if status is not AISL success, then we need to put our CPU a little bit asleep. This function will wait for 500 milliseconds and return, or it will return immediately if something will happen on socket listened by AISL. So we will not lose time and lose CPU performance here. And if we ever exit, we need to release the resources. And here I would like to have some output that things went wrong. Error, could not initialize AISL. And we will return here negative status code. Also here I would like to add the out message that we are simply entering main loop. Yes, and it looks complete. Now what we need to do is to implement our callback. I will copy its declaration and paste it here. This function will be called on each event triggered by AISL, and there are plenty of events, but we need to react only on one of them. So I will add here a check that if event code is not AISL stream event stream request, we need to just return. This event means that HTTP request was received, parsed, and client is waiting for the response. Now what we need to do is to prepare the response, and for this we will need to deal with AISL stream object, which is actually passed to us using EVT structure as a source of the event stream request event. So I can assign variable here like this. And we need some data to output to our browser, and I already have prepared something here. I will just copy and paste this. So I will not spend much time writing this again. It is nothing special, just a simple HTML with styles and two strings. And we can continue. We need to tell that we are about to make a response to our stream with this HTTP code, which means OK, and with the size of our HTML output -1. And if we succeed, we can write the data. I will also put it in if clause. AISL write to stream HTML, size of HTML -1. I use -1 here because, as you know, we have our HTML in null terminated string, and size of will return the length of the string with 1 standing for null terminating character here. We don't need it, we don't want it to be transferred over HTTP. It will definitely cause some problems, so I just put the size -1. And if this will not fail, we need to flush our stream and simply return. And here if something went wrong, we need to reject the client like this. So it looks pretty much done. One important thing regarding AISL stream is this object represents the communication process between your client and your web application. It takes inside all the request initialization, all the headers, data, and the response. So all this workflow, all this communication is represented by this specific object, which is called AISL stream. And now it is time to compile. But to compile the application, I will need to prepare a makefile. I will try to make it as simple as possible. I will need to compile Minion using GCC compiler. I will need to include headers from AISL. I will need to compile sources of my application. I will need to link my application to AISL library. I prefer statical linking, so there will be AISL build libisl.a, and I want to output it to build. I will make it like here. This variable means the name of the rule, which is Minion. And I need to add some dependencies here. First main dependency is library, and I will need to create folders. Now again, to compile the library, I will need to navigate into its folder and run make. But I want to really disable here SSL, so we will have no dependencies. The only thing that you can make your web application dependent on, and I don't want it to do now. AISL.a as a target. Okay. And now dirs, I need to make folder for building files, and I need to probably clean up. Also, as soon as we have a couple rules that are not dealing with files, I will add phony here and add dirs and clean, and I will add default target, which is Minion. Looks fine. Let's try to compile, and if something, we will simply correct it. Compilation was successful. Now let's run the application and open it in the web browser. And here we are. It was fast. It was, I think, simple. And next time I will show you how to prepare and create much more complicated web application. We will handle different events in this callback function, and I have some idea how we will continue and what we can turn this application to. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your attention, for your interest. All the links you can find in the video description below. And see you next time. Bye.